It's been fantastic. Geo Gonzo, you've been brilliant. Good luck with your podcast. Hope it goes from strength to strength. It's fantastic. Good job. Hammers chat all the way, baby. It's been fantastic. Geo Gonzo, you've been brilliant. Good luck with your podcast. Hope it goes from strength to strength. It's fantastic. Good job.
Hello and welcome to your West Ham Transfer Rumours show. We have a rumour that's very nearly fact. A centre-back. Yesterday there was no talk of this centre-back, and then today he's having a medical. Gonzo's apparently he's passed his medical, and we can expect the signing to be announced later tonight or tomorrow at the latest almost. 18-year-old centre-back from Boavista in Portugal. He's got a name very similar to you, Goncalo Cardoso, I believe is how you pronounce it, I could be wrong. 18-year-old centre-back, 2.75 million. I'm going to assume you've never heard of him.
Oh, everyone's heard of the Gonadiator, as we like to call him, the cardio kid. Well, actually, before last night, I'd never heard of him before in my life. And I've, of course, Gonzo'd him. I've looked. It's very left-footed. And the whole training, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole transfer has been a little bit secret squirrel, bit smoke and mirrors, and kept well under the radar. I think the club started briefing people last night because they knew that the story was going to get leaked. So they started briefing people to. I don't know why they did. I don't know why they might as well just allowed it to be leaked by the Portuguese media. But maybe they wanted to get some sort of spin or handle on it. So yeah, it was all. But in the main, the deal was signed. 80% of the deal was done without anybody knowing anything, and he looks hopefully like he'll be a player of some promise.
Yeah, certainly someone I've never heard of. And when I heard about a centre-back, I thought, you know what, we don't need a centre-back. I thought maybe something's happened to Winston Reid. I just assumed that Winston Reid was broken down again because we've not seen him in the last couple of pre-season games, have we? So I thought he's injured. But then when you think about the fact he's 18, and on the last show I was saying to you, we almost need someone that's too good for the under-23s, but too young for the first team. There's no one in that transition period. And I think this guy's someone that we've obviously thought, you know what, obviously we've been sort of thinking, where is Usalos going to come from? Where is his next signing coming from? He's probably been looking at someone for the last few months, probably got the deal lined up. And now we know it's a centre-back, it's an 18-year-old centre-back, but again, a bit like Diop, but with a much lesser fee, but he's played a lot less appearances, so it makes sense why he's a lot cheaper than Issa Diop. He's not captain in his club. He's only made 15 appearances for the senior side. But at under-19s championships, he made sort of the team of the tournament, if you like. But are you excited by this one, although you don't really know too much about him?
I can't be excited about him per se, plus I'm nervous that his nickname might be Gonzo, which can make things very confusing, so I might have to trademark something here. But what does excite me is the fact that Huselos seems to have his tentacles, I had to get that right, everywhere. So Haller has come from Spain, has come from Germany. Fornals has come from Spain. Diop, as you mentioned earlier, was obviously, has come from France. Obviously, Wilshere was a domestic signing, as was Fredericks. We know that we were. What's the geezer's name at Newcastle?
Hayden.
No, the one came from America. Begins with A.
Shar.
No, the forward.
Almiron, sorry.
Yeah, we know we were scouting him. We know we were scouting the other guy from the States as well. So clearly we're keeping an eye on what's going on in football across the pond. And now it looks like we're keeping an eye on the Portuguese game as well. And I just think it's very, very healthy that it wasn't too long ago that we were worried that maybe the scouting was a little bit too focused on Spain. But clearly they've got the feelers out everywhere. And a finger on the pulse for any young player that's coming through. So whilst I can't be excited because I've not seen him play, and he's not got a reputation that Diop had as well. But you have to assume, particularly looking at what he did in the South American market with bringing Balbuena over as well, that actually the fact that we haven't heard of this guy may not be a bad thing. He could well be a very, very good player, and it's exactly the type of signing we need.
Yeah, Gonzo, we're having trouble with your stream again. You're not even on the screen anymore. You went very narrow. I'm trying to fix it. I've zoomed in on your cupboard door, I think. I don't know how to get out of it. I'm trying to fix it anyway.
Is that any better?
Your head's there, but you're really stretched. I'll get to it. I'm trying to fix it as we go. But yeah, the latest on him is he's passed his medical, and we're just waiting for him to be announced. 2.75 million though. The key thing for me also is that he doesn't need to be included in the 25-man squad because of his age. He can play under the 23s, he can play in the senior squad. We don't need to register him. It doesn't count. And it depends how old he is in terms of his 18. Well, actually, no, he won't ever make the homegrown. He just misses out on making homegrown when he's 21 years old, which is a bit frustrating. But you make a good point, actually, about us keeping our eyes on the Portuguese league as well. And it almost makes you realise just how big our network is now. A striker from Germany, a midfielder from Spain, a defender from Portugal. That you almost have to believe that when we've got our sort of the next hot thing pops up in another country, we're going to be on it a little bit. Now, there is a lot of talk that this is going to be the last one, but Pellegrini's, without quoting Pellegrini, basically says something along the lines, I'm going to sit down with Huselos and David Sullivan this week. We're going to see what's left in the kitty. We're going to see what we need, and we're going to see who we can bring in. That brings us on to our striker. I mentioned him in the last one, the Basel striker. His name's come back around being linked to us. Have you Gonzo'd him at all? I think his name is Albion Ajeti.
I have not Googled Albion Ajeti or anyone with a similar name, actually. But so I can't comment on him at all. But what I would say is this is unsurprising. I always thought we were going to get another two players. The squads, you can't really listen to what the clubs say because they're giving out misinformation. They're doing it purposely, and I don't disagree with them giving out misinformation, by the way. I think it's the way to do business. I think it's the normal way that most people conduct their business, and it's quite a new thing for West Ham. But since Pellegrini's come in, we have to get used to it. You can almost assume if he says we're not going to get another striker, you have to assume that we're going to get another striker. And the squad was a little bit thin in the ground on those areas, and a young, promising striker coming in is exactly what we need. I take it he's young. He's not an old biddy, is he?
22 years old, but he's a very experienced 22-year-old as well. Like I said in the last one, he's played in European football for them. He's got a scoring record of 1 and 2. The price tag's 9 million. Do you think that if we signed the centre back for just under 3 million and we signed a striker for 9 million, do you think that sort of like fits in with what you assume is left in the kitty?
Yes, I would imagine so, albeit a load of wages. But I think it would literally be being a little bit pernickety if we sign this guy for 9 million and the centre half for 3 million and whatever. So we spend this 12 million. I think it's a little bit pernickety and unnecessary if we demand that every bit of wages that we've saved, we plough back into it. I looked at the last game, and you looked at the starting lineup, which was impressive, very impressive. And then the likes of Antonio came off the bench, who I thought did very well. And then Yarmolenko came off the bench, and again I thought he did very well. Masuaku replaced Cresswell, and on and on and on. I don't need to tell you, West Ham fans watching this, everybody knows what happened in the game. But I think the squad has the necessary depth. We are slightly light in striker, but I think he's going to rectify that. And if we can build a good squad, which I think we have, with 2 players in every position or most positions, then if we've done that whilst making a saving of 150 grand a week or whatever the case may be, then so be it. I think that's the right thing to do. It's fine. We don't necessarily have to spend that money just because we have it. I think it'll be good business done, to be honest, Gio.
I think this guy is almost too good for our third choice striker, because essentially that's what he would start off as. And if I was him and I was first choice at Basel playing in European football, or third choice at West Ham, it would be a very difficult decision to make, because I would maybe think, there might be a club between Basel and West Ham that could offer me first team football. I might not get the money, or there's other Premier League clubs out there, like maybe Crystal Palace, for example, that could probably bring him in and offer him first team football from the get-go, if you like. And I wouldn't be surprised if we were to go for him, that Hernandez would almost be on his way out the door a little bit. I do wonder if that's what they're trying to do. 9 million is his price tag. I think it's fair. Apparently we're trying to get him in on loan with a sort of view to buy in the summer, which fits in with the rumours. But Pellegrini doesn't like loans. He just doesn't. There's not many times you can go through his career and see what the see that Pellegrini doesn't like loans, etc. Before we talk about a couple of players that's left and another couple of rumours coming in, apologies for the fact you can't see Gonzo. I don't know what's wrong with it. We'll sort it out.
It's a shock. It's a shocker. But most people are tuning in purely to look at me, I'd imagine, as well.
To be honest with you, they're all having a good time taking the piss out of you. The fact that it's all a bit funny. Everyone's taking the piss out of your stream, so they can hear you.
Well, I'd just like to assure everybody that I am even more devilishly handsome than I usually am. In fact, I'm looking great tonight. It's a crime that people can't see me.
Yeah, so we'll try and work it out. It's a new thing, this OBS. It's new to me. I don't know what I'm doing, truth be told. It was working fine before we go live. Did this last time, and it just changes. So we'll get there. Anyway, Reece Oxford's left. We haven't spoken about that since he's gone. He's gone back to the club in Germany, Augsburg, believed to be about £2 million, but it's also believed that money pretty much disappeared. Agents, etc., etc. But what do you make of Reece Oxford leaving? I mean, is this one guy that we're going to look back and think, well, you had the world at your feet and kicked it away?
Yeah, I think... I certainly believe it to be true that the money was eaten up in agents' fees. They were refusing to leave. And somebody made the comparison with Gareth Bale, which I found preposterous, really, because Gareth Bale's won 4 Champions Leagues and actually achieved stuff in his career. So Gareth Bale may well consider that he can take that stance. Reece Oxford and his advisors would do well to remember that he's done nothing in his career at all. And the very fact that he was kicking back against their wages, Augsburg, that they were offering, the very fact that they wouldn't insert a relegation clause which allowed him to walk away on a free, he seems to have an overinflated sense of self-value, and he's actually achieved nothing. He's in no position to make such demands, and what it smacks of by demanding that this 2.4 million gets divvied up between the agents and between Oxford himself, it smacks of feather in the nest, it smacks of line in the pockets, and it absolutely reeks of money being far more important than football itself. And that boy would do very, very well to concentrate on just playing football, and then, like Declan Rice, by playing football, by getting in the team, the contract will take care of itself. Will we look back as West Ham fans and think and wonder what if? I'm not sure we will, Geo, because we've been recompensed by Declan Rice coming through. So we're fine in the young defensive midfielder centre back category. We're absolutely fine at West Ham. I think the one person that may well look back and rue his decision that he got a bit Billy Big Time, let's say, will be Reece Oxford himself. And I think it's very, very bad management from his advisors, his agents, whatever you want to call them.
It's a lost opportunity for everyone, though. It's a lost opportunity for West Ham United, because we believe we had a kid there that could make it in the Premier League, which would save us £20-30 million. And it's a lost opportunity for Reece Oxford to establish himself in the Premier League. And at one point, he was in the England setup as well, so the natural path for him to continue was there. All he has to do is look at Harry Maguire going in today's money, and if he'd applied himself and lived up to what we thought was his potential. Perhaps he never ever had that potential, but the people at the academy that believed he did, they're not fools. They're very experienced people that's seen it there and done it all. The biggest impact Reece Oxford's had at West Ham, and this is what's disappointing and perhaps sums up why, or his lack of game time, the biggest impact Reece Oxford's had, in my opinion, is by taking the pressure off Declan Rice to allow him to progress through the academy without much eyes on him. He had all the hype, he had all the pressure, and Declan managed to go under the radar a little bit. And I can't remember who it was. There was an ex-player, or it might have even been Tony Carr himself, that said the best thing for Declan was that everyone was focused on Reece Oxford, and that allowed Declan to flourish. And that's not good. When you sort of your biggest impact is by helping someone else's career, if you like. But he's gone, and you know something, I'm going to keep an eye on how Declan does in Germany. I'm intrigued. I do hope we've got some sort of sell-on clause. We've got it with Marcus Brown. I hope we've got it with Reece Oxford as well, just in case he does fulfil his potential, because he was doing well in Germany. He's well liked over there. He was at Russia in his first loan, and he was at Augsburg, hence why they've gone and gone back. But anyway, one other West Ham player, or it's maybe stretching it, calling him as a West Ham player, but Adrian signed for. Whoa, Gonzo, you've sort of fixed it yourself.
Have I?
Yeah, I can see you now. You're big.
I don't like to boast.
I think I've heard it before.
Well, I
fiddled
fiddled with. Am I there? Can everybody see me?
Yeah, everyone can see you now. There's a slight delay with your audio and visual, but it's fine. They can see you.
I had a little fiddle, Geo, and I managed to sort something out.
Does that mean you were breaking my thing?
No, I don't think so. I just, we have ways. We have ways. I'm a bit thin. I look thinner than normal. Actually, I've just seen. Anyway, let's not worry about such. You wanted to talk about Adrian. That was a surprise.
Well, I think the best thing about it is all the in the nose at West Ham were sort of suggesting he had no offers on the table, and 24 hours later, there he was at Anfield.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him a couple of days ago. I thought, I was actually thinking, why haven't we got him in? Why have we got this, old Butterfingers in at the moment, who couldn't catch a cold, and then Adrian's got no job. But clearly, again, it's not happened by accident. This will have been in negotiation for the past 2 weeks or whatever. So, good on him, really. Good on him. We couldn't offer him first team football, and at that point where he wasn't going to feature for us, he's been a good servant. At that point, then we have to let him go and wish him well in whatever he decides to do.
You've gone all stretched again. It's done it itself, and it's worse now because it's zoomed in on like your face. So your face is all stretched, so we can see like lips moving, but we can't see your lips. It's just horizontal lines.
The lips are moving,
we'll have
we'll
play around with it.
Home.
For Adrian, do you know something? Good luck to him. He, in my opinion, he came to West Ham. Never heard of him. Free transfer. Not much expected of him. Back up to Jaskalainen. He came in, got his chance. He really bought into the football club. He bought into the traditions. He bought into the fan base. There was a cult hero thing going on with him a little bit. He played up to the crowd. The crowd loved it. But the problem is, for us to move to the next level, we need to get rid of sort of like I don't know how to describe it, not the broken player, but sort of they're not quite good enough, but he's fun to have around. And that's what Adrian was a little bit. And it was, Fabianski's just relegated him to the bench. He's gone to Anfield. He'll have decent money there. I'll tell you what though, Liverpool will concede a goal. I'll give him 10 appearances. I think Liverpool will concede 1 goal from a back pass to Adrian, because he will fanny around with it in the 6-yard box. The way they play, they give their keeper 2 touches at the most. Alisson's comfortable to do a 1-2 with the defender. Adrian can't do that. He's going to get the ball and do something, and it's going to end up in the back of the net eventually. So I do think that's a mistake waiting to happen. So if you're a Liverpool fan tuning in, good keeper on your day, you'll love him, but he's got a mistake in him. West Ham United have apparently said no to Danny Welbeck and Daniel Sturridge. Is that a relief, Gonzo?
Yes. We don't need these players. And in fact, we'd suggest they need us more than we need them. They are, I wouldn't like to say finished, but maybe I'll just say finished. Maybe they are finished. Sturridge is another one, actually. We talk about Reece Oxford. Sturridge is another one. I feel like he's wasted a large portion of his career. Actually, he could have been absolutely brilliant. Could have been absolutely world class.
How has he wasted it?
How has he wasted it?
Yeah.
I think when it became clear that he was no longer wanted by Klopp, that Klopp wasn't, didn't like him as much as Brendan Rodgers did, that he didn't feature in Klopp's system as much as he featured in Brendan Rodgers. I think at that point, he probably could have decided to go elsewhere, but I think he took the decision to carry on earning 150 grand a week for as long as was possible. And yeah, there were a couple of loan deals, but he didn't pull up any trees. He seems to have a funny demeanour about him. He seems to strop quite a lot, and I never get a feeling he's a totally committed player. And certainly, don't think anyone could argue that he has fulfilled his talent. He hasn't. He's had far more talent than anything he's gone on to achieve.
I just think you're being a bit harsh. I think injuries have played a big part. I don't think it's the same as Reece Oxford. I think Reece Oxford is about attitude and application. I do get that feeling with Sturridge sometimes that he's a little bit too laid back, Berahino style kind of thing. But I do think it was mainly injuries that's hindered his career, and he has gone out alone. The thing is, if no one's come in for him, if no one's ever went to go buy him, then he can't do much about it. Because if someone went to go get Sturridge, regardless of his injury problems, Liverpool would have wanted 10 million at least, and you're not going to pay that and take a gamble on him. So I do think he's been handcuffed a little bit. But I'm relieved that we're not going after him or Danny Welbeck. This centre back is why we have Huselos, because if we didn't have Huselos, we would have been competing with Crystal Palace today for Gary Cahill. This is the big difference. And instead of giving Bavista 2.5 million, we've been giving Gary Cahill 2.5 million to sign for 2 years. This is a big difference, and I'm relieved. One centre back we were linked with quite a bit. It would have been a big talking point in a previous transfer show, but we've not done one. Is Aaron Long of New York Red Bulls. Now he seemed to be you talk about smoke and mirrors. He was that essentially. He was there, linked to us. Despite the fact that the work permit, everyone knew he wasn't going to get a work permit. We were always linked to him. It never went through. Would you have liked to get him? Have you ever heard of him?
Well, I only heard of him once we were linked to him, and then that was pretty much it. I wouldn't say I'd favour him any more than the fella, old Gonzita, the Gonad, Cardoso, or whatever his name is today. I wouldn't want him any more than... No, I don't think it matters. I think we needed a body in, and I think we needed to make sure that whoever came in was promised and could eventually work their way into the first team. I think we've done that, whether we got the fella from the States or whether we got the guy from Portugal. So I'm not bothered one way or another. But I did have a little look because we've been linked with him for maybe a week or two, haven't we?
We were sporadically linked to a non-defensive midfielder, Valentin Rongier. We've basically been ruled out of that as quick as we got linked to him. His value is around about £14 million, and there one report were linking us to him, and pretty immediately there was reports saying actually we've been put off by the price tag. Gonzo, has there been any other transfer mutterings or rumours you've seen that you wish to discuss?
No, I can't. I think we've discussed all of them, but I am adamant we've got a surprise. Well, maybe it's not a surprise if it's this guy from Basel. There's no surprise at all, but I still think there's business to be done, and maybe even an out. Don't be surprised if we sell someone. That we could well sell it could be maybe biting a bullet on Hernandez. Maybe it's somebody like that. I hope it's not Antonio, but do not be surprised if we sell someone as well.
I think so as well. I think Hernandez, Antonio and Ogbonna is the 3 leading candidates actually. I think that's the 3. I wouldn't also be surprised should someone come in for one of the left backs. Probably not Masuaku because he's had a new deal. If someone came in for Creswell as well, I think we'd be open to selling him. But time will tell. We'll wait and see. Obviously, we've got the transfer deadline shuts on Thursday at 5 p.m. Now, we're not doing a transfer deadline show because we've got the Manchester City preview that night. But we're doing a cup of tea / a transfer show on Wednesday night where hopefully the centre back will have signed for West Ham. Might even have had another deal done by then. I'm pretty confident there'll be a few rumours to discuss in the last 24 hours. Just want to say apologies for the lack of Gonzo or the stripy Gonzo, the stretched Gonzo, the whatever Gonzo.
Can I just say, whilst I've been trying to sort it out, for once, I don't normally... When I'm flying solo, I watch the live chat. When I'm in the stream with Geo watches the live chat, I don't. But I have been watching the live chat on this one, and I do
Got some
think
comedians.
It's very funny. I have been highly tickled by what they've been saying. That's actually it's the most entertaining bit. Has not been the transfer roundup at all. It's been the Mickey takers in the chat, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah,
it's been enjoyable. Anyway, apologies for the lack of Gonzo, the stripy Gonzo. We'll do our best to get it fixed, but truth be told, we're not 100% sure what we're doing, so we're going to way back to Google and some YouTube tutorials and see if we can work it out for Thursday night. But tomorrow night, myself and Charlie recorded. We kept getting asked in a cup of tea, how do you think we're going to line up next season? And it's not a 5-minute answer. So myself and Charlie have recorded a 10-15 minute video. That'll go up tomorrow night, Tuesday night. The video with Matt Jarvis, I interviewed Matt Jarvis, went up last night. Did you enjoy it, Gonzo? Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I loved it. I really, I thought he came across brilliantly. Interviewer was a bit dodgy, but the guest, oh, wonderful, absolutely wonderful. No, I thought he did a cracking job. I really did. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Watched it in 2 parts. He was good, and you clearly went with a naughty question at the end, you naughty boy. Fantastic. I've just found some audio and video settings. There we go. But hey ho. Actually, it's only asking me if I want to blur my background, but I think I've been blurred enough today.
Yeah, I've been. Anyway, that's been Gonzo. Well, that's been Stripey Gonzo, and I've been Geo. Thank you very much for watching this episode of our West Ham Transfer Rumour Show. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll catch you in a bit.